our
bold predictions
for the rest of the 2024 season. This video is sponsored by the wonderful people over at Squarespace, the all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. Today, we are going to be going through some bold predictions from you wonderful lot, as well as our bold predictions for the rest of the season. We've got one each, haven't we, Tommy? But before we do that, we have a shout out for our US tour. Tickets are still available. Check the link in our social media. If you want to find out more, link in the description of this podcast, in the YouTube chat, everywhere. There are links everywhere. We'd love to have you at one of our US shows in October, which is not far away, is it, Tommy? I'm quite excited to.
I'm like nervous excited now. Yeah, it feels like very, very close now, and it's like, oh, it's happening. It's going to fly by as soon as the season starts back up again, isn't it? But exciting times.
Exactly. And what is also exciting is the fact that we're going to get into our bold predictions and start with P1 Patreon member Savage Monkey 3.0. Oscar Piastri will win more races than Lando and pass him for P2 in the championship. Oof. Lando fans, we've started off with pure savagery from Savage Monkey. A lot of people, I don't think this is the only prediction I've seen about Oscar Piastri doing better than Lando Norris in the second half of the season. And look, it's a fair assessment to make. Oscar Piastri is definitely on the up. He's been improving. He's been getting his act together in the races. And he is a force to be reckoned with in, I don't know when. Whether it'll be this half of the season, whether it'll be going into the next season, perhaps a clean slate into the 26 regulations. I'm not sure. But he is improving a lot. I will say I don't agree with that. I think that Lando will still have the edge. Yes, he hasn't been perfect. Don't get me wrong. Lando is his biggest own self-critic. And he's aware of the fact he needs to improve. But I still think Lando will have the edge in this second half of the season. And if he irons out the mistakes, then Lando should, in theory, be P2 in the championship. And that's where I sit for now.
I actually think this is, going to be probably the most interesting teammate battle of the whole second half of the season. I think maybe Lando's form has kind of been unfairly sort of criticised. I know you can look at Oscar's outscored him, and he has, and Oscar deserves a huge amount of credit. But of course, Austria was a big moment where he scored nothing, essentially, Lando, for when he was very close to winning the race, or at least coming second. So I think it's going to be incredibly close between them. I think it is going to be extremely close. Too close to call. I wouldn't want to...
Tommy, get off the fence. Is it happening or not? I don't want any of this. You're not going to come back from the summer break and give me some of this fence sitting.
Okay. Oscar does it just.
Oh. Have you ever dreamt of owning your own website, but never thought that you had the right skills or coding knowledge in order to have one? Well, let me introduce you to Squarespace, a place where you can build a website with absolutely no coding knowledge required. With Fluid Engine, a next-generation website design system from Squarespace, it's never been easier for anyone to unlock unbreakable creativity. Start with a best-in-class website template and customize every design detail with reimagined drag-and-drop technology for desktop or mobile. What's better too is that you can create one for free and only start paying once you decide to go ahead and publish your website. So what are you waiting for? Head to squarespace.com/P1 to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain using the code P1. Okay, let's get into the juicy ones then and start with my bold prediction. And it is, with 10 races to go, Max will win no more than 3 races. Yep, it's happening. Red Bull are getting caught even more so into the second half of the season. I just see it in my mind's eye, Tommy. They've been caught. I don't think they have any interest really in much focus in this year or next year's car probably for that matter, because they're probably quite concerned with 2026 now, with the fact that the whole structure seems to be coming apart piece by piece. Jonathan Wheatley leaving, going to Audi, and it just feels as though a lot's going on there. And I just feel as though Red Bull will still be, they'll still be quick, don't get me wrong, and Max will still produce some unbelievable drives, but he'll win no more than 3 races. Thoughts?
Ooh. Shall I counter my thoughts with my bold prediction, because it's also about Max? Verstappen extends his lead. by the end of the season.
I would actually argue that both of those things could be true.
Yeah, okay.
Everybody
true.
could take points off each other.
Exactly. Looking at the form, actually, and this is even as someone that's quite a pessimistic person, I think that he's not won since Spain. I do think he is carrying a lot of... he is carrying Red Bull on his back with his performance, but I don't think his form is as bad when you actually look into... dissect the races, deep dive into the race, because Austria, he was going to win, if not second, if he hadn't collided with Lando Norris. Silverstone, second. God, what a wash driver. Hungary should have gone to bed earlier, which of course we all know. And Belgium, he absolutely walked qualifying, and it was really hard to overtake. And I think if he'd have started from pole, could he have won it? I think that it's a very good chance he would have won that race. So his form isn't anywhere near as bad as we think.
Next one is from J. Luke John. Letting Piastri win in Hungary will be why Verstappen wins the championship instead of Norris. Wow, that is quite the statement. Now, I said that in jest. I don't actually think that Lando will finish less than 7 points behind Max. But I think that also it is something to talk about, because you have, now we have 10 races left, a maximum of over 250 points available. If you think of, how many sprints have we got left? I can't even remember now. But I don't think if we're going to be sensible about this, that's not going to happen, and Max Verstappen's going to win the championship comfortably. That's not to say that we're not going to get exciting races every single Grand Prix, because I do think that will be also the case.
Exactly. It is the gap is currently 78 points, which is a huge margin. No one's ever turned around that margin before. I think the biggest was Max Verstappen on Charles Leclerc. Thought I'd mention that.
Fantastic.
The gap is enormous. It's not impossible. It would be a case of Red Bull falling off a cliff, which I don't think they'll do. But I do think Lando will bag a lot of points come the end of the season. So yeah, this would be insane for it to even happen.
Okay, let's go to the next bold prediction. It comes in from Riorge Gussel. There'll be 8 different race winners, but the 8th isn't going to be Perez.
For me, this one is nothing's ever a 0% chance, but I will grade it a 0.01% chance that this will happen. I think it's absolutely almost impossible, because it's so close at the front. It makes it incredibly difficult for a random winner. You look at 2021 and 2022, you had that rogue Ocon win, you had the rogue Perez win, you had whatever, but that was in a season where only a Merc or Verstappen was winning a race, whereas now, if Verstappen doesn't win, you've got Norris. If Verstappen does win, Leclerc, Piastri, Sainz, Hamilton, Russell. Even if all them 7 fall off the road, well, depending on Perez's form, maybe not. But you'd think, basically, there's 7, if not 8 drivers that can win a race. You actually look at Fernando Alonso. We were saying he's the best chance. The highest anyone has finished outside those top 8 drivers is 5th, and that was Fernando Alonso once. I think it's so rare that they're even getting a podium, never mind a win.
Yeah, it would take some crazy circumstances for all 7/8 drivers to have
Bottas
something go
bowling
wrong.
in the stake, but rather than him being taking out the first 3, takes out the first 10.
Yeah, and then we'll see. I mean, even with Verstappen having a hole in his car, he probably still would win if we go back to Hungary. Let's go to the next one, and it comes in from P1 Patreon member Lumixion. Perez wins the Mexican Grand Prix. Now, I would love this. It would be such a emotional moment. Now, there's been a lot of rumours, hasn't there, about things that have caused Perez to stay in his seat, surrounding the Mexican Grand Prix and surrounding money and all this sort of stuff. Now, we're not going to go into that because there's no verified sources. It's just lots of hearsay and that sort of stuff. But if we're looking at that as an isolated moment, I would love it. I think it would be such an emotional moment. I think Perez would be incredibly overwhelmed if he was able to do something like that. He will need to do another win or bin and actually make it happen this time, because of course he did win or bin last year, and it was a bin because he crashed with Charles Leclerc, I believe it was. Fun. But yeah, he's going to have to do it from 8th and a dive bomb into 1st by turn 1.
I'd love to see it as well. It'd be an incredible story, like you say. Had Mexico been the first race of the season when Perez turns up and is seemingly much more on it, then maybe there's an opportunity, because, of course, Perez picked up 3 P2s in the first 4 races. But then, even if Red Bull returned to form, you're kind of relying on something to go wrong with Max, because he is unbelievable around Mexico. Even when Red Bull weren't the dominant car, he seemed to always be the favourite going into that race, even when the Mercedes were miles clear of the field. So it would take a lot for a Sergio Perez victory, but like you say, would love to see it. I mean, I think the form he's in, he would absolutely just take a podium now there and anywhere.
Okay, there's a question that we put out on our socials, and it was, who out of Hamilton, Russell, Piastri, Norris, Leclerc and Sainz ends up with the most wins during the season? It's an interesting question, because
it's a really difficult question, apart from Ferrari.
You look at that, right, and you go... Good. So you look at that, right, and you go, well, surely McLaren. But after looking at them in the first half of the season, you go, how have you come away with 2 wins? How have you come away with less wins than Mercedes, considering the form that you've had for most of the year? And then you look at the well-oiled machine that is Mercedes and Hamilton and Russell, and you go, Lewis could probably snatch 1 or 2 more. If everything falls his way, or he qualifies really well, Hamilton's in with a shot. You know that. And we've seen that this season already. So, I am going to say... No, I'm backing Lewis Hamilton. I genuinely think... I know he has got a win ahead of the rest of them, but I could see him getting 1 or 2 more, and I don't think Norris or Piastri, in what could probably be the fastest car, will pick up 3, 4, 5 wins. I just don't see it.
I completely agree with you on this, that if you just looked at the car, you say, well, McLaren, one of the McLaren drivers should be doing it. But the fact that, Mercedes have come out of this little break with more wins in such a short time that their car's been good. So you think if they're carrying that momentum and their car's getting better, they're just going to pick up more wins, as to be said. So I think it will be one of the Mercedes drivers over the McLaren. So yeah, I think it will be
pick a driver, Tommy.
Hamilton. It's boring to go for the same one, but I do think it'd be Hamilton.
It's fine. Yeah. We are allowed to have the same opinion sometimes.
I know.
Okay, the final bold prediction from you wonderful lot is from Philip Slayton. Red Bull loses the Constructors' Championship. Yes, Red Bull don't win the Constructors. This isn't even bold. This is just a prediction. This is actually already happening in my head. I see it. I think that McLaren, although we've said they may not pick up many wins, if they're finishing 2nd and 3rd, they're probably scoring more points than Red Bull do. So I think that, it will cost them. I don't think Max is going to, as I've already predicted, I don't think Max is going to win more than 3 races in the last 10. And there's going to be a lot of points up for grabs. So I think McLaren will win the Constructors' Championship, in my opinion. It'll be close with Red Bull, don't get me wrong, but they're just losing too many points. And if their car is continuing to get caught up and continuing to be in this pack, which I believe that they will be for this second half of the season, it's signed, sealed, delivered, as long as McLaren don't mess around too much.
I think McLaren, will do it. You can say they should be winning every race. Looking at this, you look at the lead driver from China, whether that is Lando or Oscar. They've got a second, a first, second, third, first, and a second, which Red Bull haven't. When Max is finishing 6th, 5th, or whatever, Perez is finishing 7th or 8th or whatever. So they're not picking up a lot of points there. And exactly what you said. This is borderline not even bold, which who'd have thought we'd be here saying that at the start of the season, but it's not bold anymore.
It's absolute madness. So there you go. That is it. We've locked in some bold predictions from you lot as well as our own, and I look forward to seeing absolutely none of these come true, and we're completely washed and living in a Delulu land. But that's what a way to come back from summer break, hey Tommy, than just throwing random predictions into the atmosphere.
It's what we do best. That's what people are here for, right? And excited for racing to get back now.
I know, it's not far away.
It's not
We're
long.
going to be back at Zandvoort, so I should have actually said Max will win no more than 2 races after Zandvoort, because let's be real here, that was a bit silly from me. But hey-ho, you never know. I may well be cooking something up in the predictions for the Zandvoort race. I definitely am. I'm already getting excited. So anyway, that is it. Tommy, what are your final thoughts, please, sir?
Final thoughts are, it's good to be back chatting waffle about F1 again.
And let's hope people win more wins.
And win more wins, and Ferrari don't exist in the championship. What? And all the other random things that I've said during this podcast.
Oh, Ferrari exists. Ferrari are going to win the Constructors. Thoughts?
Yeah, they were looking very good. My God, yeah, just looking at their Wikipedia page and seeing like all the consistent points, and then it just being green after Monaco, where it's just points. Good times.
Yeah, cool. Right, good place to end. So see you around, everybody. Lots of love. Podcasting. What is it again? Who knows? Bye.
Goodbye.